All right, welcome to the Quarantine Check-In. My guest today is the very funny Johnny Mocny from Lansing, Michigan. He hosts a really cool podcast called We Are Movies. Johnny, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
So let me ask you, you've been doing comedy for 2 years, approximately.
Just over.
What made you start doing it?
Well, I've always been a comedy fan, and I dabbled a little bit in high school, but once I was out, I spent a little time before I started at State. I was at LCC, and all my friends were gone. I had to find new things to do, and that's kind of when I just decided to start committing to actually doing it regularly, and so it was the right time in my life, and I'd been flirting with it for a long time.
Do you remember the first joke you ever told?
The first joke I ever told, like on stage,
Yep.
or just it was my it was the school talent show my junior year of high school. The first joke in my set was I made a joke about how I'm John Irvin Mocny the fourth, and so I'm like the unnecessary sequel of the family. And I made a comparison. I'm like the Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 of the family or something. And I haven't done that joke since, but I think I'm pretty sure that was the first one.
And for good reason that you haven't done.
Exactly, yeah.
So you've been around for 2 years, and it's weird. The first time I met you was probably a couple months ago at the Comedy Rumble, which is a thing that happens here pretty regularly in Detroit, run by a great comedian named Brett Hayden.
Yep.
And I thought you had a pretty funny set that night.
Thank you. I thought you did too.
Thank you. So let me ask you, before that, I've never seen you. How have I never seen you perform?
Well, for one thing, I haven't been in the Detroit area enough, not as much as I'd like to. I've spent most of my time, front half was a lot of time in Lansing and like Kalamazoo, just because they had so many open mics in Kalamazoo, and a few other places. But I think part of that's just because I haven't been in your area enough.
Once my shows start running back up, I'd love to have you on one of them.
Oh yeah, of course. I'd be honored.
Cool. So you are also a movie fan.
Yes. Yeah.
And I guess a lot of us have been sitting in quarantine watching a lot of movies. What have you been watching?
I've been watching all kinds of stuff, but right before the quarantine got bad, basically right before all of our classes went online at MSU, I had just kind of started getting into like a spaghetti Western kick. So I've been watching a lot of those recently. Like there's the surface level Sergio Leone types of films, but I've been kind of going into like Corbucci and some of the lesser known guys, and that's been a good chunk of my time.
Which one has been your favorite so far?
So my favorite of all time is probably The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly still.
Yeah.
But maybe my favorite that I've discovered recently is a film called The Great Silence. It's very good. It's directed by Sergio Corbucci, who also did a Django, the original Django, and it's a Western that takes place in the snow, which I don't think there's nearly enough of those. I grew up watching Jeremiah Johnson a lot. That's like my grandpa's favorite movie, so I do know. And I've always thought there needs to be more snowy Westerns, and it's great.
Well, there is The Hateful Eight.
There is The Hateful Eight, and actually, I think Tarantino is a big fan of Corbucci, and so I think there's a lot of inspiration on The Hateful Eight from that movie.
I think Tarantino is a big fan of everybody.
That's true, yeah. Specifically, he loves like sort of cult, genre stuff that wasn't like in the mainstream from like the 60s and 70s. There's a lot of the one thing watching a lot of spaghetti Western movies is I hear scores that I've heard in Tarantino movies before because he reused a lot of old scores, and that's pretty like an educational experience. Sure.
It's funny that I've also been watching spaghetti Westerns. I've been watching the Sartana films.
Oh yes, I watched the first one recently.
They are insane.
Yeah, they're fun.
They are. I think I watched them out of order because I think I watched the second one first because Claude Kinski was in that one. And
Oh, Klaus Kinski's in the first one.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, it's if you meet Sartana, you pray for your death.
Yes, yes,
Right?
yes.
Yeah.
For some reason I thought that was the second.
Yes. Oh well, but by the way, you would love The Great Silence because Klaus Kinski is the villain in that.
Have you ever seen his version of Nosferatu?
Yes. Yeah, the Werner Herzog
Oh,
film.
it's so friggin' good.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. Klaus Kinski is one of my favorite actors of all time too. Fitzcarraldo is
Oh,
also one of my favorites.
that movie's great, but have you the movie My Best Fiend that describes how they made that film?
Oh, I haven't seen that.
It's a documentary about their friendship.
Okay.
Yeah. Or
It's got to be strange because they're two very strange people.
yeah, yeah. But Klaus Kinski is great. What other films have you been watching?
Um, let me think. I saw there's been a lot of general like little things I've come across because they were on Netflix, and I decided to watch this movie Free Fire. It's by a director named Ben Wheatley. It's sort of it's like Reservoir Dogs, but constant action the whole way through, kind of like it's got like Brie Larson, Armie Hammer, Cillian Murphy.
Oh, okay, yeah. I've seen the trailer for that one.
Yeah.
So the room, right?
Sorry.
The movie takes place in one space, basically.
Yeah, it's in like one warehouse, and it's basically a long shootout. The whole movie.
Yeah.
Charlton Copley's in it, who's also one of my favorite actors today, I think, and he's
who is?
Charlton Copley. He's also the lead in District 9.
Okay. Another great film.
Yes, yeah. Have you? What have you been watching during this?
I've actually been recently watching the final season of Mr. Robot.
Okay, I haven't watched that show yet.
It's phenomenal, and
I've heard really good things.
The third season was kind of meh, but the fourth season, I'm like 4 episodes in, and I'm like, this is gonna end phenomenally.
Okay, so you're not done yet?
No, I have I think 10 more episodes, or 11 more, or 9 more episodes.
Okay.
And let's see what else I've been watching a lot of schlock.
I love schlock.
I watched this movie called Night Beast, which is the worst alien invasion film ever made in New Jersey. Like I mean, I could use better special effects than the guys who made this one.
Are there any well-known B movie names attached to it or anything?
I don't think so. Like, no, this is just a bunch of people who had no business making a movie. What else have I been watching? I'm a big fan of this company called Vinegar Syndrome, and I do a yearly subscription to their movies, and they've been putting out a lot of good stuff lately, like Extra 3, which is
a yearly subscription. Do they have like a streaming service, or
they have a streaming service called Exploitation TV, but that ended last year.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
At the beginning, they would upload like almost everything in their catalog, and then it started dwindling where they put a movie up every 3 months.
Okay.
Which sucked because I gave them money through Indiegogo to support that, and
yeah,
I was really sad when that went away.
I would love I love companies like Vinegar Syndrome and like Synapse and people like that, and like I would definitely put my money behind them doing like a streaming service for those kinds of movies.
Yeah, hopefully someone else will do it, like Arrow. Like
Arrow would be great.
What else have I been watching? I watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood again. I just love that film. Like I hated it when I saw it in the theater, and then for work. I went to Dubai at the end of last year. On the flight back, I watched it, and I'm like, this is a really good film.
You realized it watching it on a flight that it was good after. Yeah. That's interesting.
I also watched this film called Anna and the Apocalypse. Have you ever seen that?
I heard about it. I haven't seen it. It's like a musical, right?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I also watched Grease 2, which I think is the better of the two Greases.
Is it Michelle Pfeiffer is in Grease 2? Yeah. Is that?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
It's so bad. But the songs are every song is a sexual innuendo. Like there's a song where they're in a bomb shelter.
Yeah. Oh wow.
The guy's wearing an army hat, and all the T-birds are making it appear like a nuclear war is going on. He's with a girl and singing the song called "Do It for Our Country."
Is it about the same characters? Is it Danny Zuko and?
No. It's like takes place 4 years later.
Oh, okay, so it's different people.
Yeah, one character, a couple characters from the original appeared like the principal and Frenchie, the girl who was going to be a cosmetologist.
Oh yeah,
But it's just
the people that could get back.
and my good friend Eddie Deason.
I love Eddie Deason. You ever seen Critter? Have you seen the Critters movies?
I refuse to see the Critters movies and the Ghoulies films because I'm a big fan of horror, but those ones actually scare me. Ghoulies more than the Critters.
Eddie Deason has a great part in Critters too, where because there's these two bounty hunter characters that change form into, like, they look at somebody and they can look like that person, and one of them changes at first, like he changes into like a Playboy model, and so he's wearing like a short like like really, like, he's pretty scantily clad, and then he sees Eddie Deason, like a character played by him, and changes into Eddie Deason. So Eddie Deason runs around in like really short shorts through a good section of the movie, and it's worth the price of admission.
I'm gonna have to watch that. Have you ever seen Laser Blast?
Yes, I have.
Eddie
There's
Deason
great
plays,
stop motion
Oh, yeah.
monsters in that.
Eddie Deason plays a bully in that movie.
Mm-hmm. Which is strange casting.
Because when I think bully, I think Eddie Deason.
Exactly. There's also, that movie has like a Mark Hamill lookalike as the main character, which I always thought was funny.
Well, I think that's why they cast him. Ooh, we got to get that Star Wars.
Yeah, we'll fool enough people into thinking this is Star Wars.
Well, it had a laser gun, so I was in.
Yeah. It's a fun, especially like those. I love when they cut to the space creatures in that movie. It's like very Ray Harryhausen.
Well, it's not as good as Ray Harryhausen. I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
it's a Charles Brand film, and Charles Brand is like. There was a documentary I saw about the video tape industry where he would create posters for movies, and then when distributors would come in, he'd show them, and then whatever ones they bought, they would make those movies.
You're talking about Charles Band, the
Full Moon.
Full Moon, yeah, and Empire Pictures guy, right? I have back at my apartment in East Lansing, I have the Empire Pictures box set, the Blu-ray box set. Yeah, it's got like From Beyond, Dolls, a lot of them before they became Full Moon, Trancers, like their early hits.
Shout Factory picked a lot of those up. I picked up Dolls when.
Yeah. A lot of the Blu-rays in the box were Shout Factory editions.
Okay. Yeah, that was kind of pricey, so I didn't buy it.
I think I got it. I got it as a birthday gift, my 18th birthday, I think, because I only asked for the essentials, obviously.
Yeah, what are you gonna get? Clothes and the Empire Films box set.
Exactly. It was that and some socks. Yeah.
Sorry. So, what would you say is your favorite movie of all time?
I have two that I kind of go to regularly. I kind of go back and forth. One of them is Jaws. I say that a lot, just because I think it's the movie I've loved the longest. Like, I was obsessed with it when I was 5, and I still think it's great. And then I also often say John Carpenter's The Thing, because I just think it's perfect, and I'll watch it anytime. So
It is a good movie.
One of those two. Do you have one?
That's a hard one. I think from my classy side, it's Wong Kar-wai's Chungking Express.
That's great.
I'm a huge Wong Kar-wai fan, and I've heard rumors that Criterion's releasing a box set of his later this year.
That I would get that. I mean, I'd wait for the 50% off sale, and then I'd get it.
That's what I did for the Godzilla set. I think.
Yeah, me too.
Let's see what else. In my exploitation side, it would probably be a movie called Miami Connection.
I adore Miami Connection. I've seen that one too. Great bad movie. One of the best bad movies.
It's the best bad band in there as well.
Yes, yeah. I love the lead actor in that too is.
He's not the lead actor. He's also the writer and director.
Right. It's a vanity project.
Yeah, I read when the Alamo Drafthouse started showing it that he didn't believe that anyone wanted to re-release it.
He thought it was a prank or something.
Yeah, he did.
That's funny. Are you a Red Letter Media fan?
Somewhat.
Yeah, that's how. obviously I'm like a, child of the internet. So I've learned a lot of my go-to bad movies and exploitation stuff I learn about from like Best of the Worst and their shows that they do. And so that's helped me out a lot.
I was lucky enough to grow up in the era of the video stores.
Oh yeah.
So you would just go and just pick out a movie based on the cover,
Right.
or if you saw it in Fangora magazine.
I did. I was at the, I think from like ages 5 to 12, I was still, back when Blockbuster was around, I still like regularly went there. And I was a covers guy too.
I mean, that's why I think I rented the Beyond, Fulci's.
Fulgies, yeah.
I saw it at such a young age where it kind of messed me up.
um, yeah, I love the Beyond. You're a Fulci fan, right?
Yeah. And you stumped me. I had no idea he did westerns.
He did, yeah, he did a couple before he started getting into his grotesque horror stuff. So I didn't even know about it. I've been reading this book called, since I'm on my spaghetti western kick, I've been reading a book called 10,000 Ways to Die by Alex Cox, the guy who directed like Repo Man, Sid and Nancy. And it's like a big it's a big thing that he wrote about the spaghetti western genre. And he got to this one movie in there called Massacre Time, which is directed by Lucio Fulci. And I just dropped the book and I was like, I have to watch this now. And it was solid. It was good. It's his range is interesting because it's not obviously grotesque at all, nearly to the extent that his later movies are.
I don't know. For some reason, the Italian cinema is the greatest bad cinema in the world.
Yeah. Well, partially it's all the dubbing. It's like they're so bizarre. Italian movies are just weird already, even the good ones.
Have you ever seen Demons 2?
No, I've seen Demons. I haven't seen the countless unofficial sequels to Demons.
Demons 2, I think, is the only official sequel to it.
Okay.
Because it takes place in the same universe. But the guy who played the pimp in the first Demons is back as the owner. And he's become like my favorite actor.
Have you seen him in anything else?
No, just those two movies. And I think I found him on Facebook at one point.
Oh, okay.
My friend.
Yeah, you could probably hit him up, get him as a guest.
Yeah, maybe. I would like to get I'm trying to get some other people as guests. Hopefully that'll come through before the show ends. Hopefully on April 30th when I can start seeing people again.
Yeah. Did Dario Argento do the Demons movies, or
he produced them?
He just produced them. Okay. I love Argento too. Big fan of his.
I love Argento up to a point.
Well, yes, yeah. I'm not a fan of Dracula 3D or whatever.
Oh, that was terrible. Yeah, that was terrible.
I
think Mother of Tears lost it for me.
Yeah, that's the one where there's a unintentionally hilarious moment where a woman drops a baby in that movie. And that's the third in the trilogy, right? Yeah.
And the worst. They just got progressively worse.
Yes, because Inferno's okay, I think. Obviously, Suspiria is the best, I think.
I agree. I think that's his best movie, period.
Yeah, I'd agree.
And then The Bird of the Crystal Plumage after that.
Yeah, Deep Red's really good, too.
So it's Phenomena?
I haven't seen that one yet. I've been wanting to.
Jennifer Connelly at her.
Yeah, and Donald Pleasance, right?
Yes. But Donald Pleasance, miscast in that film. I think his best film is this Australian movie called Wake in Fright.
I really want to see Wake in Fright. I haven't seen that either. It's on Netflix, I think. I've been meaning to watch it.
You should watch it. It's really good. Really good.
It's the same. I know it's the same director as First Blood, Ted Kotcheff.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I've heard that, and I am a big Donald Pleasance fan too. Like, easily the best thing about all the Halloween sequels, I think.
His best role beside Wake in Fright. Have you ever seen Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band?
No, I haven't.
So, at some point in the late 70s, early 80s, people did a lot of cocaine, and they thought they could make a movie based on all the Beatles songs starring Peter Frampton and the Bee Gees.
Naturally.
Donald Pleasance plays the owner of a record label, and he sings the Beatles song I want you so bad it's driving me mad" to them to get them to sign a contract.
He sings the whole song?
Yes, there's
That's wonderful. That's I'm sold.
that's not even the best part of the movie. Steve Martin singing Maxwell's Silver Hammer.
Wow.
And then a chorus of pretty much every B and C celebrity at the end singing Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, including Carol Channing.
Are any of the Beatles in it?
No, they had nothing to do with this movie.
That's besides like giving the rights, probably.
I don't think they owned the rights to their music at that point.
Oh yeah, probably not.
I mean, the Jackson estate owns it right now.
I mean, I loved Donald Pleasance in because I Great Escape was one of my favorite movies growing up, and then yeah, and then obviously greatest fictional movie president of all time, and Escape from New York. So
yeah, that's yeah. Somewhere I heard they're remaking that.
Yeah, it's being remade by or rebooted or something by Lee Winnell, the guy who wrote Saw, and he just recently did The Invisible Man.
I have not seen that.
It's pretty good. It's it's very it's a woman getting gaslighted for about 90 minutes, but it wraps up satisfyingly, I think.
I heard it was really good. All right, let's get back to comedy. So what do you think is going to happen to the comedy scene when we all come back from this?
I think the people who really miss it are realizing how important it is. Well, because the funny thing is, a lot of comics spend so much time. We act unsatisfied, and maybe we are, but now we all miss it so much that we got to come back and then go back to our persona of this, like, being very passive about it. But I hopefully it'll go back to normal. I don't know. I see venues maybe not jumping directly back into it again, but I hope not. I hope, because I really want to do it more the more time I spend home. Yeah,
me too. I've done a few of the online mics through Zoom.
Oh yeah.
Have you done any of those yet?
I haven't. I've tuned into some. I've been watching Max and stuff like that.
Oh, I didn't realize Max did one.
Yeah, on Instagram Live, they're doing one every Monday.
Yeah, I did one last week, and then I hosted one. Since this is coming out on Thursday, it's happening tonight.
Okay.
At 9:00 on Zoom. But it's not the same as the real thing. It's like, I like an audience. I like riffing.
Yeah, I like the immediate feedback of stand-up because there's that relationship.
I did an actual showcase this past Saturday, and it was weird. All the comedians were on Zoom, and the audience was on Twitch. So I couldn't hear how they were reacting at all.
That's strange, because then, I don't know about you, but so much of my, like, how I do it, I'm prepared for, pausing, or I do, like, further elaboration sometimes while people are laughing. So that kind of screws up the whole momentum.
No, totally. And yeah, I cannot wait for it to get back to normal.
Yeah.
Or somewhat normal.
But in the meantime, you get to do stuff like this. Like, we have all these creative opportunities, like the people who have been planning on starting podcasts or writing more or something. It's like, oh, now I have no excuse,
Are you having a hard time writing during this time period?
I mean, not more than before. I mean, do you mean comedy specifically? Yeah. Like, I haven't been making up for that time in terms of comedy. I haven't. I think I'm writing at the same pace or less, because I do think that when I'm doing more stand-up, I'm pressured to write more too, because I keep seeing people that I know and they have new bits, and I'm like, oh, that's good, and I'm like, I gotta write more too.
And I'll tell you, the Lansing scene is really good.
Yes.
There are a ton of great comedians like Louis, James, Jake.
Yeah, Dan, Rob, Pat.
Pat's phenomenal. Luke Nesbitt's great. Nick.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah, the whole Salsa Parlor is just wonderful.
Yeah, I really like all those guys, and
we're very spoiled in the Lansing area. I'm very grateful to just by chance have been there, and I get to spend so much time with them.
I think the whole Michigan scene in general is strong.
Yeah, stronger than anyone I think would expect. Like, I keep telling that to people who don't do comedy.
Well, I started in Kansas City,
Okay.
moved here 2 years ago, and the Kansas City scene is great, but the scene here is just like everyone is so good, and you want to up your game every time you go on stage.
Yeah, and I mean, at least from my perspective, everyone's been very supportive of each other too. It's it's very everyone's cool.
No, they are. It's like I will hang out with 99% of the comics,
Yeah,
and even after this is over, that 1%, I will totally hang out with them too.
yeah, oh, exactly. Yeah, I miss people I didn't think I'd miss. Not gonna name names, obviously, and I that's been half the things I look forward to doing this. It sounds schmaltzy, but I genuinely look forward to getting to hang out with people when I go do shows and open mics.
No, that's the draw of comedy, is the hang before and after.
Yeah, exactly.
So this has been awesome, but I usually end this with a how do I say it? I'm a big fan of the misconnections section on Craigslist,
Okay.
and I'm going to read one to you, and if you can, riff a joke off of it.
Okay.
Um, this one I'm going to say is different, and you'll see in a second. It's from right outside Canoga Park in Southern California. The header is mother-daughter. I met you and your daughter at the market last week. Your daughter commented on my truck. All three of us talked in the parking lot for about 15 minutes. You were both pretty flirty. Now I'm regretting not asking for your numbers. I'm 32, 6'1", and about 200 pounds, in great shape. If it sounds familiar, shoot me an email and tell me what kind of truck I was driving.
Oh man, I love the quiz aspect to it. Like, he's clearly like he's going out of his way to seek out this woman and her daughter, but then like he'll only accept if she remembers him equally. That's funny to me. I'm trying to. I don't know if a joke that I can think of from that situation, but I mean, do you have out of curiosity? Do you have the number? I might just want to write it down.
I do not have the number.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
But
Um,
go on.
oh, were you gonna say something? Did you have something funny?
I don't know if it's funny, but I'm thinking that every failed erotic writer uses Craigslist as a springboard for their upcoming 50 Shades of Grey-esque novel.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can see this situation easily being in like a Nicholas Sparks story. Like,
This is the story of a guy who doesn't know how to choose.
yeah. That's good. That's funny. I like his assumption that the mom would, you know, it's like she and her daughter are the package deal. It's like, oh, if he's attracted to my daughter too, then that's like that's gonna be, part of the appeal. you know.
So here's the most messed up part about it. I was reading it to a friend. I was reading it to a friend to see what he thought if I should do this one as a joke. His only comment is, "I fucked a mom and her daughter," and I'm like, no, you didn't. He's like, "Yeah, I did," and I don't know if I think highly of it, but I also think he deserves an applause break.
Yeah. Did he do it at the same time or like?
Yeah, he did at the same time. They said they didn't touch, but
Oof, well, yeah. That would be a confusing situation.
you'd be puking and fucking at the same time.
Yeah. Some people are. Yeah, I don't kink shame. I'm sure there's. Craigslist is making a living off of it. That's their market.
And a lot of people are going to their emails and never hearing a response.
I like this guy. I keep going back. Like, what? Where did I go wrong?
I've been thinking about responding to a bunch of them.
That'd be Just try to get them as a guest. That'd be fun.
No, that would just be sad. It'd be like, I thought they'd call me back. I thought we meant something to each other.
If you did a quarantine check-in with this guy, he would probably have masturbated a record amount of times.
Well, who hasn't during this time?
That's true, yeah.
We could watch another episode of Star Trek The Next Generation or masturbate.
Everybody's learning their limits, finally.
Yeah, I guess you could do, you know what? You didn't go blind, but you're really sad.
You wish you were blind so you didn't have to see your reflection in the mirror anymore.
That look of shame.
Yeah.
9 times in one day. Still got it.
Yeah.
Well, John, this has been awesome. Hopefully I'll have you on one of my shows soon, or I'll see you in Lansing, because hopefully I'll be able to go out there at more times after this.
Yeah, of course. I look forward to it. This has been fun.
Cool, man. Well, thank you. Tomorrow on the show, we have the really funny Joanna Madrana. I think I pronounced that correctly.
I love her. On
Friday, Jimmy Calloway from Los Angeles.
Cool.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you for watching. We'll see you next time.